Okay, so we're going to retcon a little bit from how last session ended, and you move the statue, slide it across these marble floor in the tomb. You hear the scraping of stone against stone, and it reveals this trap door below. You're able to pull the trap door free of its resting spot, and it reveals a chamber below. But you see a few inches below the trap door, water. The chamber is flooded. As a light from the chamber in which you're in kind of flickers and dances in the iron braziers, you can see the shadowed objects and the glint of metal below. Lily, you've sat down and are just about to drop your feet into the what you think is going to be cold water, when Arafor, describe for us what it's like when you sense a spirit, a ghost, a wraith.
Yeah, so Arafor is there. He's kind of getting ready. They've seen the water. He's preparing to remove some of his gear to enter into it, when suddenly there's no wind in this chamber, obviously being underground, but he can almost feel that feeling as if there is a draft blowing, and he feels this kind of like icy chill, almost as if coming from like within his bones and within his stomach. Just this intense, chilling, yet simultaneously kind of hair-raising sense. That feeling of something being there but not being able to see it. And he would his eyes would begin to dart kind of wildly around the chamber, not necessarily knowing exactly what the source of this feeling is, but knowing that it's there. He would just kind of put a hand up to Moira and then the others. Wait. But before you go in, I can feel something. Something's here.
Lily turns her head and says, I think I saw something glint at the bottom. But she does listen to him and backs up away from the water. Because she isn't, if there's something there going in the water, it doesn't sound quite as exciting as it did.
Lily, you're swinging your feet away from this opening, this entryway to the lower chamber. When Arafor, your eyes are drawn to the water. You feel it's almost like a magnetizing force. It draws you. You could feel the air pulled from your lungs. A large breeze blows in through the entryway past you, Badu, and into the chamber. There's like a sucking squall kind of sound of the wind as it blows out the lights from all the braziers, leaving, pitching you all into darkness and silence. The wind, just as quickly as it came, dies out. You could smell the acrid smell of the now extinguished 6 iron braziers.
Badu he was standing upright, and as soon as the lights go out, he drops his torch and pulls out his axe and is holding it with both hands, and he kind of squats and he looks towards the exit and then back towards the room, after hearing Arafor mention some presence being there, and he's kind of keeping his eyes just to make sure that nothing is going on outside as well, but also just in case anything goes on inside, to that he can move to action.
Okay, give me a perception roll, Badu. I'm not sure how loudly you spoke, Arafor, but you're far enough away. You may not have heard everything that he had said.
Possibly.
What are the rest of you doing?
Perception 16.
Yeah, okay. So you hear enough to know that Aerofor was whispering a threat
Okay.
to the others. So you're definitely on edge.
Yeah, so he would stay like in the middle then, between the door and still on that landing above, but between the door, kind of like right on the edge, just in case anything happens inside, he can hop down.
Yeah, perfect.
Lily would definitely move back next to her comrades.
Yeah, Lily,
As best she can in the dark anyway.
yeah, there's very little light coming in here. The moon is full outside. It's it's almost full night. I believe it was late afternoon when you guys had gotten to the tomb. So it's probably still like an orange haze of the setting sun outside, and some of that kind of makes its way in. So it's not full darkness. Like you can see the opening, and you can see the shadowed form of Badu up on the landing and in the entryway to the tomb. Wari, you probably see the best in this thing. So everything is kind of like this shades of different level shades of gray.
Yeah, Wari, who was probably somewhere near the sarcophagi, when the lights went out, he would have probably sensed Arafor's like concern for everything, and as soon as the lights went out, he would immediately wait for the few seconds it probably takes for his eyes to adjust to the change in light, and just start looking around for something that Arafor says is there. Probably slowly drawing one of his daggers out just a little bit from the sheath.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, as you pull your dagger out and you look over to where Badu is, you can see that the large man has, from the loop at his side, he's drawn out his axe. Moira and Arafor have not moved. They're a few feet away from this revealed trap door. And you see Lily is kind of scrambled back a little bit. And I can't remember, Carol, if you said you were getting back up to your feet.
Yeah, she probably would.
Yeah. Okay.
She wants to be able to move quickly if she sees anything.
And Moira and Arafor, what are you doing?
Moira is looking around blindly in the dark, her hand automatically pulling for the hilt of her sword and unsheathing it, not stepping one direction of another, but just looking, trying to see something in this darkness.
Perfect. And Arafor.
Yeah, Arafor is doing similarly. His hand is on the hilt of his sword. His other arm kind of reaching back for his shield. I imagine he would kind of frantically look around in the dark as if that could possibly do anything. And yell, somebody light a torch. We need to be able to see. But not having the means to do so himself at the moment. But he would be trying to ready himself, get his armor back on, clasped, and get his shield and his blade, just in case.
Perfect. It's deadly silent in this tomb. You can hear each other's breath, the creak of leather, and the shuffling of feet. Arafor, you feel this heavy pressure on your chest and you find it hard to breathe. The evil or the presence that you sensed seems to have grown in power. It causes your palms of your hands to start to sweat, and you can feel a trickle of sweat as it runs down between your shoulder blades. Is anyone lighting a torch? I think you said that out loud, right, Arafor?
Yeah, he would have said so out loud. Yeah, just asking for somebody else if somebody else had one.
I don't know how well Lily would do trying to light a torch in the darkness. I know she has some in that tinderbox, so she may be fumbling around with them anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And Bado, you do have a torch that you had that was blown out when the wind blew into the tomb. I think you said you had dropped it at your feet, so that's there as well.
Yeah, he dropped it after a few seconds of nothing happening. He would probably switch his axe to one hand and grab the torch, head over more towards the exit to get some light and try and light that torch. And then as soon as he lit it up, bring it back and kind of lean down to either help to put light into the room, and if anyone were to come and try and light off of his torch as well.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so you breathe life back into the torch, and the rest of you would see the orange glow of the torch at the opening, and it approaches as Baidu comes forward. And not long after that, Lily, you bring one of your torches to life as well. It kind of bathes this tomb in this very dim, flickering torchlight. The air feels cooler than it had before. Arafor, you still find your chest that's like a pressure on your chest as if someone is sitting on it. You find drawing in air hard, and you just feel that presence. Your eyes, you can't pull your eyes from the orange reflected water at the opening.
Yeah, I imagine at this point, Arafor is just kind of intently focused on just watching the flames lick and glint off of the reflections in the water. You can feel that pressure, that chill kind of pushing down on him. But until something happens, he can just kind of goes into a focus, almost a trance, like this expectant state, like calm before a storm kind of feeling. Just waiting and watching with extreme focus.
Yeah. As you're watching the placid surface of this opening, you see a ripple breaks the tension of the surface, and it spreads out across it as if like a drop of water or something was dropped in it, but you don't see anything. And anyone else, any others of you that would be looking at this, the water would see this as well. And then you see it again, another ripple. The ripples fade and the water goes still again. Then it starts to slowly spin counterclockwise, swirling. And as it does so, it kind of creates this, I think, vortex of water starts to spin up until there's a column of this churning water, and it's dark and it's murky, and it goes till it almost touches the ceiling, and then it drops back down, and it spreads a little bit of water across the marble floor, and it kind of creates this fine silty mud, probably in the 10 feet surrounding this entrance to the lower level of the tomb. And revealed is this shadowed, robed form, cowled. You see water dripping from the robes, and this dark, almost like smoke, seems to be wreathed and rolling around it. It speaks slowly. You can't tell, Arafor, if it's in your mind or out loud. Actually, none of you can, but you all hear it. Why have you come and disturbed my rest? And it's just floating above this entry.
So, Lionel, would it be possible while this is manifesting, is there any place Lily could set her torch down and have it just keep burning, whether it's on the floor or whatever?
Yeah, as long as you keep it away from the probably that roughly 10-foot radius that where water splashed around.
Okay, well then she's going to set that down and she's going to go and hide behind the statue.
Scamper, scamper, scamper.
Yes.
Will you be using inspiration to hide, Lily?
I think I will. I think I will
Okay.
use my inspiration to hide at this time.
Almost in a flash, you see Lily's torch. It's on the floor and it's kind of rolling a little bit. It sputters. But Lily is nowhere to be seen. What are the rest of you doing? This thing is just floating there, and it's kind of facing you, Era 4.
Yeah, I think Arafor would kind of take a step forward, not necessarily getting too close to this thing, but just kind of presenting himself.
Perfect.
We come here on behalf of a friend whom we've sworn an oath to, a descendant of a horn that's been laid here to rest. We come to retrieve it on his honor.
It just kind of floats there in silence. And then it speaks again. You don't know if it's out loud or in your mind, but everyone hears this. You're robbers of Doomsden. Come to steal. Oh, sorry. What is mine?
We've come to bring it back to its rightful descendants. Its proper owners have need of it in dark times.
Liar! And it seems to scream through your mind, Era 4, and you can't help but put hands up, and the rest of you as well. And as that happens, the iron braziers ignite back up in flame, but the flame is not a natural orange warm flame. It's this bluish green, and it just flares up. I need everybody to make a wisdom save, please. Everybody that fails, you're going to take 3 shadow as this wave of dark energy just spreads throughout the tomb. And I think, Wari, you're the only one that made... Oh, no, Arafor as well. You both will take 1 shadow as you find yourself steeled a little bit more against it. Perfect. What are you guys going to do? And then it kind of settles down, and as it does, it kind of spreads out its arms when it calls you a liar, and there is like that pulse, and then it kind of settles down, and the smoke around it starts to again just slowly make its way, twist around the shape of this wraith before you. You still see water dripping from the robes down gently into the pool below it.
Badu leans over the landing, and he keeps his eye on this thing the whole time. He's got the torch in one hand and his axe in the other, and he just says very plainly, with his head pointed to Arafor, but his eyes locked on this thing. He says, "What do we do with this one?"
We speak the truth.
You feel a relief, Arafor, as this thing's cowled head turns ever so subtly away from you onto you, Moira. You come for the horn.
Aye, we do. Radrith, Knight of Dol Amroth, a descendant. Yours. He sought it. He fell in battle, and we have sworn an oath to retrieve it. For his honor.
I do not know those names.
Their names come long after you have gone. Recent friend.
It turns its cowl head back towards you, Arafor. You, man of the North. Do you stand against the shadow?
Every breath, every action.
You can almost hear this breath in your head, Arafor. And you would take this horn to do what?
We will bring wrath against. Might have yet another way to fight against it.
But how? How do I know you are worthy? Some among you are shadow touched. And at that point, when he makes that statement, Moira, Badu, you feel this pressure on you, much like Arafor had felt earlier, as though some heavy object has been placed upon your chest, making it difficult for you to breathe. You, Moira, have this flash of flame and fire in your vision in front of your waking eyes. And Badu, you feel the cold of darkness, the icy hands of the shadow gripping you.
We may be touched by the shadow, but we fight it. With all that we have.
Silence! You are weak, Kinslayer!
Badu, when he feels this pressure, he kind of leans back a little bit, not really sure what it is. And when he says that to Moira, he looks back at this creature and he calls out to it and he says, "Oi, what would you know about touched by the shadow?"
You see it lifts its cowl head up to the landing where you are, and you hear in your mind, Badu, no one else hears this. You hear it say, "You are given to the shadow. You are its, and it will use you."
I am given to no one but myself and my friends.
You hear laughter in your mind. And then it trails off.
He just kind of scowls at that and grips his axe tightly. And I'm want to just real quick. I'm probably going to just ready if he makes any sort of move towards anybody. Badu would jump down and charge it immediately. So just putting that out there.
Perfect. As its cowl dips back, facing you, Arafor, it says, "And what? What will you give me in return if you take my horn?"
What is it that you would desire? And if it is in my power, offer it.
I ask of you a sacrifice.
What sort of sacrifice?
Your soul. For it will never be the same again if you do this.
Ask it of me. You say I am touched. Perhaps my life is forfeit as well. Ask it of me.
The cowl turns towards you, Moira, and you don't see any eyes, but it feels as though eyes are burning through you. Silence! I will take no oath from you.
And hearing all this, going towards her friends, Lily screws up all of her little bit of courage, and she steps out of her hiding place, and she looks at this being, and she says, "Take mine then."
Who are you?
I am but a wee hobbit.
You could sense confusion from this thing. And you know that it probably has never seen a hobbit before.
We're a small folk, and we live in a small land, not terribly far from here.
I don't care. Hobbit. And it
I
turns
have
back.
not been given to the shadow. Examine my soul.
It turns from you, Lily, and back towards Arafor. I will know that you're worthy. If not, you will all die here. Do you agree?
In order to agree to such a thing, we first must be clear on the terms. There might be no trickery that might happen here from either of us. I understand.
It interrupts you. It goes, "You dare impugn me!" And you hear that kind of that same sense, and the flames start to rise up again, brightening that sickly blue-green flame in the tomb, and then it kind of settles down.
Just as you have had cause to impugn me, despite myself having an honor, I have the same right to you. It's nothing, no judgment cast upon you. Just merely understanding of what deal is being struck. That's all I ask.
There's a brief pause, and then the cowl head nods. Three questions will I ask you. 3 answers will you give. If you are righteous, you will be rewarded. If you are not, then you will die.
And if these 3 questions are answered in a manner which suits you, we will take the horn. Nothing else, but we will take the horn. We will leave.
The cowled head nods.
Then I agree. Ask.
Yeah, one word goes through all of your minds. Good. So, Arafor, are you the one that's going to step forward and answer this thing's questions?
That was the plan.
Very good. You say ask, and it starts. It goes, a serpent swam in a silver urn. A golden bird in its mouth abide. The serpent drank the water. This in turn killed the serpent. Then the golden bird died. What am I? And if you'd like, I can read it because I don't know how easy it was to hear what I said in the Wraith voice.
Yeah, that'd be good. Can we help with this too?
Yeah. If there's a way to put it in that too, I think that would help too.
Yeah, I'm going to
If
drop
you
it
have
in
a
the
way to
chat.
copy and paste it.
Yep, I'm going to do that right now. Just bear with me. Anyone could help Arafor as you all hear this riddle that Widmund, Maldred has given. But you see it sits there, just kind of floats gently, that smoke kind of wreathing around it as the water continues to drip down. Yeah. Answer. Several seconds pass.
Can we roll or anything?
Yeah, is anybody proficient in the riddle?
I'm not proficient, but I do have a +3 intelligence.
Okay. But nobody in your party has that has skill in the riddles.
No.
Okay. You can do it, Carol. But I'm going to give you disadvantage because you're not actually trained.
Okay.
On the chance that maybe Lily might remember something.
Oh, that's too bad because one was a nat 20 and the other's only 7 + 3, which is 10.
You get a sense that the Wraith is awaiting. So
I'm sorry. The last part where he actually asked the question, "What am I?" Was that in reference to the drink or the bird, the serpent?
that is in reference to the riddle.
What the fuck? Oh no! Oh no!
I mean, it'll be something like, a silver urn could be what, like a lake, or it could be something,
Right. So
any
that's
old thing.
that's
What's
definitely a hint for you, and you would know that. You know that it's asking Arafor about something. So
Oh,
some,
no.
like teeth in a mouth or whatever,
Yeah.
like the Hobbit riddles that they did with
Is there anything anybody else would like to do? You see Arafor, you could see him kind of thinking through this this riddle.
Oh jeez.
That's not an easy one. I hate riddles.
Oh,
We-
oh, 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 oh.
Oh.
Oh, I see. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is my guess. Can I? I don't know. Can I? I have a question, Lionel. Is this how much we know, or how much our characters know? Because I'm having a hard time separating this.
I'm all about role-playing games. I'm all about being in character, but let's be honest here. We're going to know things our characters won't, and characters going to know things we won't. So it's okay, I think, to blur that line. So, I mean, there's always that off chance that any PC might have had an experience that would be helpful in a situation that is totally foreign to what they typically would do. So, yeah. So it asks this question of Arafor, and Arafor, you sense that it's becoming impatient.
Is it a lamp?
It leans closer to you and it goes, correct. A harvest sown and reaped on the same day in an unplowed field, which increases without growing, remains whole though it is eaten, within and without, is useless and yet the staple of nations. And I'll throw that one in the chat as well. Yes, and Moira, you can definitely take inspiration for solving that riddle. Well done.
Lionel, did you come up with these riddles?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Because they're incredible.
I think it's only fair. You should have to come up with the riddles if we have to solve them.
Okay, sure. We can. Challenge accepted.
Don't. Please
No,
don't. He's just gonna Google the hardest ones possible.
No. That's not making them up, Kyle. But no, I wanted riddles that felt very Middle Earth.
It does feel very Middle Earth. Like, what's in my pocket?
Right.
Yeah, real riddle game. They both have to answer.
It's not a riddle game, Carol.
Shh.
Yeah, think this one through. If anyone would like to potentially use a skill to try to get a to get some sort of hint or something.
I have a lore skill.
Yeah, I don't think
need my
lore wouldn't necessarily help you. Arafor, you're the one doing the riddle. Give me a history check. I mean, you're a Dunedain. Your ancestors fought alongside Maldred many centuries ago.
All right, that is a 19 on the die, so it's 21.
Perfect.
History.
Perfect. As you're kind of puzzling through this, you think that you're on the right track. What you know of Maldred, what brought his kin up here. What is your answer?
A battlefield.
Yes. If you break me, I do not stop working. If you touch me, I may be snared. If you lose me, nothing will matter.
Is it a heart?
You're met with silence as you give the final answer to the last riddle. And it splashes down with like almost blinding speed into the water. The water ripples. A few tense moments pass, and then you see the wraith rise up from the water slowly. It reaches out with its hand, and in its hands you see a horn, Arafor, and he stretches it out towards you. Go with honor, man of the North.
Arafor takes a couple of shaky steps towards this thing, still nervous. His heart is like pounding. But he'll approach and he'll grab the horn from its hand and just look up towards it and say, "We will. Now you rest in peace in return. Thank you."
It says nothing, but its head bows to you. And that the only question that I have, has anybody taken anything else from this tomb?
Not that anybody saw.
Other than people seeing, has anybody taken anything from this tomb?
Yeah, so far we're still all here, so that technically Lily hasn't.
Not
Yeah,
I.
I think the only person who has is Wari, and we're not aware of that. Nobody else
Perfect.
has.
Cool. What do you do? The wraith is just kind of, it kind of goes back a little bit and is suspended again over the opening to the lower tomb.
Arafor is going to walk over to Moira and outstretch his arm, the horn in it, and he's actually going to give it to her. You were right to help. Thank you for pushing me. I would have left with those crumbles of dust, if not for you.
Moira, he hands you a horn, the exact duplicate of the one that you had retrieved from the tomb just moments before. Except this one is pristine, shows no sign of age at all. The metal etchings along the the bell and the mouthpiece are free of any sort of blemish or tarnish, even though for many years it has been lost to the water below.
Thank you for trusting me. Come, we should go.
Yes. Anything else that anybody may have seen here, leave it be. A deal is a deal. We answered the questions and we got the horn. Nothing less, but nothing more. Let's go.
You notice that the flames in the iron braziers has returned to a warmer orange glow as you approach the way out. Off in the distance, you can see that the last lights of the setting sun have given way to the darkness of night. The moon probably still low in the distant horizon, not shedding its silver glow across the landscape. Do you guys exit the tomb?
Lily's going to ask Badu to help her get up out of the pit.
Okay, so
Yeah, Badu would just be kind of like pulling everyone up and
okay.
ushering them.
Yeah, can you all let me know your order in which you do that, please?
I'll let Lily go first.
Okay, Lily.
All right, I'll go first.
Help the small creatures up first.
Are you going up next, Worry?
Yeah, I'll go up next.
Ah, jeez.
Here we go.
There's a clap of thunder as it reverberates through the tomb. Deceivers! You would steal from me. And the flame again turns from the orange to that sickly blue-green. And you feel the weight of this wraith, its ire. It points a skeletal hand towards you, Wari. Thief! And the rest of you, I imagine, would be confused by this because no one had seen Wari take anything.
Badu, kind of as he's pulling him up, looks at the wraith and then looks back at Wari. His eyes locked on him. He says,
Oh, what did you do?
kind of concerned.
Wari would he would like take the rings out of his pocket and like drop them back down the side of the little rise or the whatever you want to call it that separates between the outside and the inside of the tomb.
Yeah, you're probably halfway up. It's one of those things where Badu has reached down and he's pulling you up, and as he's getting you like halfway up, it's about 10 feet up. That when the wraith calls you out, and I imagine Badu, you kind of stopped halfway as you're lifting him up.
Yeah, like as he just yelled, Budgie just like freezes and his arm just tenses. He's
Yeah.
just
So-
what was that?
There's the sound of metal striking the marble tile of this tomb's floor. Clink, 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 and you hear a couple of them roll. Arafor and Moira, you see these rings are dropped by Wari.
And you would probably see maybe like a childlike look of innocence who doesn't know that stealing is bad until he's caught. Kind of look on his face like, sorry, just sorry. But it'll kind of just hang there waiting to see what happens.
Badu kind of like cocks his head sideways diagonally a little bit and just kind of shakes it like a disappointed mother.
Oi.
As he's still holding them like halfway up.
As there's that pause, you see the other 4 sarcophagi. Black smoke starts to leak out from underneath their lids, and it starts to coalesce into the shape, humanoid shapes.
What have you done?
Okay, time to go.
And he's gonna pull Wari all the way up and kind of like almost too far and like give him a little bit of a push and lean down to Arafor and Moira to pull them up as well.
You as you yank Wari up, you hear this grating of stone, and the light behind you, the faint moonlight starts to slowly disappear as the tomb is closing.
And as he hears that, Badu turns his head around and just immediately darts for the door, for the entrance. Even if I have to dash, whatever he's got to do, he's going to try and get in between it and try and hold the stone open.
Yeah. So you have Lily and Wari up at the top. It's not that long. The entryway itself is probably only 10 or 12 feet. So you can easily close that distance, and you try to hold. It was 10 feet. You can definitely try. Give me an athletics to try to hold this this stone that is being closed.
That's a 20 modified.
Yeah. So you're grunting and straining. You can feel your bones and muscle go taut as you're holding this. Sweat immediately starts to bead at your forehead. You feel it. You're like slowing it down, but it's like inching close rather than closing.
Yeah.
Let's roll some initiative. See what happens here. All right. So, Aerofor, you can take action first. You see these four shadowed forms starting to coalesce. It doesn't appear that the wraith of Maldred has moved any closer towards you, but you can just feel this wave of I don't know if hatred is the right word for it, but like this disdain just kind of washes out from this wraith. Yes, very good word.
Aerofor is going to turn to Moira. You have the horn. You have to go. You have to make it out of here, at least. I'll be right behind you. And without even waiting to see her reaction or ask for approval, he's going to basically just try to like grab her around the waist and lift her up to the ledge so she can reach it.
Yep, you could easily do that. Moira, you don't resist?
She thinks about it, not wanting to leave Aerofor, but realizes that if she can climb quickly enough, she can pull him up behind her.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if you don't resist at all, then it's no problem for Aerofor to give you a quick boost up to the edge. It's 10 feet, so it's not far for you to reach out and grab. And you're a hardy Rohirrim, so you easily pull yourself up alongside Lily and Wari. Wari, it's your turn. Do you have a weapon out, Aerofor, as you get Moira up? Do you draw a weapon or?
I'm gonna say not yet, actually. Aerofor's game plan is more to try to get out. Fighting is a last resort, so he wouldn't have drawn it yet.
Mm. Your knowledge of the downs and the darker things that lurk here, you sense that these things are beyond you if you try to fight them. And now we'll go to you, Wari. You see Moira gets a quick boost up to the edge. I imagine you and Lily in some fashion help get her that little bit up to the top. What are you doing?
I would be trying to compare maybe how easily Moira and Aerofor are climbing up compared to how well Badu is holding on to the rock. Who would be failing?
Everyone is,
I guess.
Everyone is up top except for Aerofor, who's kind of like at his back against the wall of this tomb, facing these four things that are now almost completely formed. And you see these weapons, these dark, almost weapons of darkness appear. Black steel.
Does it look like Badu's has the door for a decent amount of time?
If you look behind you, you can see that Badu is holding that door, and he's a big man. He's got his body wedged in there. It's like his back is pushed up against the edge, and he's kind of got his feet wedged against this door, and his hands, and he's pressing as hard as he can. But you can see that it's slowly giving, just inches. But you know that you probably maybe have seconds to get out of here before that thing will either crush Badu or close.
Okay, then Wari would probably do that whole like look to Badu, like see if he needs help, then quickly turn back to Aerofor, see if he needs help, look back to Badu, and then finally look back to Aerofor and help pull him up as well, knowing that Badu's got this.
Yeah, you go belly down on the ramp and you put your hand down towards Aerofor. Perfect. Lily, what are you doing?
Lily's standing at the top. She's not quite ready to leave. She doesn't want to be out of this place without her comrades, even if, because the outside seems so scary towards the inside, and at least here she's got her friends. So she's hovering by the door, and she's got her little bow out, and she's just hoping that we all get out, getting ready to run the minute everybody can run, or even the second.
Yeah, you would see that Badu is barely holding this stone open.
Well,
And
there's not much she can do to help him.
yeah, Moira.
Moira will, she's just scrambled up. She's still on her knees. The sword was placed on the ground next to her at the top of this ledge, and she turns and is grasping for Arafor's arms to make sure he's going to be up. And
Yeah.
she's not leaving him.
Perfect. You can do that with advantage because Wari is helping you. You hear a yell from Moira, Arafor, and Wari. Quick, grab a hand! And you see that they both have a hand extended down to you.
Strength, athletics.
Yeah, advantage.
18.
Perfect, yeah. You quickly pull him up, so now the whole of you are at the top of this ramp, looking down at this tomb, bathed in this sickly bluish-green flame.
And she'll look over her shoulder towards Lily now that she's pulling Arafor up. Run!
Yes.
I'm just a step from the door. I can go out with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be alone out there.
And Maldred just sits there. You can feel the weight of his gaze upon all of you, and the four shadows start to move. They kind of make this. It's not quite as disarming or disheartening. Sorry, as the squelch of the ring wraith, but it's still very unnerving as they go, and they move quickly towards the ramp, and almost effortlessly you see them coming right up as if they're not held by gravity. And two of them come to the top of the ramp. Arafor, back to you.
Yeah, Arafor is just going to look to everybody. Run now! And just kind of pushing Wari and Moira to kind of give them a start. Is going to ready to run behind them as soon as they go.
Perfect. At the start of this initiative, Badu, why don't you give me another strength athletics check?
Ooh, I'm. Would you be, if this counts as some sort of combat, because he's struggling so hard against this? Would you be all right if I were to activate a battle fury, or basically a rage for that?
Totally, you can, bro.
Awesome. Yeah. So
I would be really surprised if Badu wasn't getting really angry.
Yeah. So Badu's by the door, and he's doing that thing, especially if you see ever like in the movies when they're trying to hold something really heavy and you see their face like vibrating, and you can see he's starting to drip sweat and his face is all red as he's very slowly getting pushed back by this thing. And there's one vein popping out of his forehead, and that comes to a 23 with the rage advantage, and he just screams, "Go!"
Yeah,
as he's just barely holding this thing back.
You hear the grating of stone. You see the strain on Badu's face. You know he won't be holding it much longer at all. Arafor, you draw steel just in time as one of these black swords swings at your head and block it. Ching! There's this kind of vibration that spreads across your arm as the steel hits yours. And all I can think of is if you've ever played softball and you don't hit the ball right with the bat and it sends that vibration, that's kind of what it feels like, Arafor. And Wari, you're up.
Get the heck out of there.
Yeah, you run out, you duck out underneath Badu's straining legs, and you get out into the cool air of the night.
I'd once to the other side, I'd try to help Badu as best I can from the other side without blocking anybody putting it out.
Yeah, it's like one of those things when it's like you got too many people helping move something, and one other person comes along and puts their hand on it, and they're really not doing it. So, but it makes you feel better, Wari. You put your hand there. And Lily, you're up. You see
Lily.
Wari is dipped out.
Yeah, seeing that we're, that people are getting out, Lily just slides very easily between Badu's legs and just darts outside.
Yeah, it's refreshing. The air smells sweet, and the silver glow of the moon up in the sky greets you as you duck out.
Yeah, and then she does actually get ready with her bow in case somebody comes out behind one of her friends.
Perfect. Moira, you see that Arafor has blocked a strike from one of the two. And he's kind of, I imagine he's backing up ever so slowly and trying to keep them at bay with his sword. What do you do?
Moira looks towards the exit and looks at Arafor, and she can see the set of his jaw, and she knows he's not leaving until she's safe, and so she turns and runs and calls out over her shoulder, "Come on, Arafor, come on!"
Perfect.
And once he sees her go, I'll use my ready to follow.
Yeah. So you pull away. You feel one of these blades as it narrowly misses you. There's like this brief exchange of looks as you look at the red, strained face of Badu just before you tuck up underneath him and make it outside under the moonlight. Badu, it's your turn.
As soon as he sees Moira, and as Arafor is passing underneath him, Badu is standing with both of his hands against the rock, and one foot on the inside of the entrance and the other foot just on the outside in the dirt. And as soon as Arafor is in, as soon as he can look down and see his back, he just shifts his weight and basically gets flung out of the way by the pressure of this rock closing in, and he just flies back onto and kind of tumbles and rolls onto his back, and then he falls onto his hands and his knees, just barely, narrowly holding that thing up.
Perfect. Why don't you give me a dex save, though?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to cut it. I got like a 7.
Yeah, no. So everything that you described does happen, but as you kind of let go and you start to roll out, the stone slams into your side, knocking the air from your lungs. You take 1 point of bludgeoning because you're raging, so you would have the damage. So you take 1 point of bludgeoning. So you're on your hands and knees, kind of catching your breath, and you all now are outside of this tomb. The silver, the full moon up in the sky, kind of just bathing the landscape in this almost magical silvery glow. Arafor, as the stone closes on the tomb, there's only one last thing that Arafor feels, and that's regret. And then it fades. Breathing heavily, a light breeze blows across you all. You hear a voice. Well, 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 what do we have here? Where's Thomas? And we'll take a break.
Oh shit.
What the fuck?
So let's take a let's come like 5-10 minutes. Let's come back about 11:05, and we'll pick up the last half of this session.
You're horrible.
Oh, jeez.
What do you mean I'm horrible?
You're just horrible.
All right, I'll be right back.
Well, that could have ended a lot worse.
Could have ended a lot better.
Yeah. Well, you have the greedy dwarf on your team.
Seriously.
You guys did well. I was sort of hoping, I'm so glad that you guys don't approach Adventures in Middle Earth, and that's what I mean. You guys just have the skill set. You guys don't approach Adventures in Middle Earth like D&D. Like in D&D, that wraith would have appeared, and what would D&D characters do? They'd start hacking the crap out of it, trying to fight it. Whereas you guys said, "Wait a sec, we're going to play this out. Let's see what happens here."
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like a recurring theme throughout. If you look at a lot of things in Lord of the Rings, like a lot of the times these spirits aren't necessarily like, other than like the ring wraiths, they're not just like outright evil, but they are very particular. So it's like they want to know that the people that they're dealing with are of worthy stature.
Right.
It's like you have like Aragorn like getting the armies of the dead and like things like that, and it's like
right. They're definitely shadows of the great men or women of whom they were in life, but they are definitely tainted by the shadow, and that's where that darkness in them comes from. But the goodness, like especially with Maldred, he was still fairly noble, but he definitely would have killed you guys if you would have failed in that challenge.
Thank God for rage advantage, dude.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say it, but
the first one I did fine, and then I rolled a 4, and I was like, yeah. So I was like, either I'm gonna rage if he'll let me rage, and I'll take that advantage, or I'm gonna use inspiration because I know for a fact I cannot lose this skill challenge right now.
Yeah, that was a good time for you to do what you had to do.
Yeah, if you'd have failed, you would have lost quite a bit of ground on the door, and it would have made anybody that was inside, they would have had to make a roll to get past you and out, versus being able to tuck in without really having to make a check.
Right, and then anybody who doesn't make that check is dead.
Well, they would trap them in there long, so that those shadows would have started attacking them. And let me tell you, you would not have wanted to get hit by them.
Yeah, is dead.
They basically, when they hit you with those swords, they don't cut you, but they draw your life force.
Oh.
Well, that's one reason that Lily wanted to wait till the last second, because she can duck out through the space of anybody that's a size bigger, and she wanted to cover her friend's retreat.
Yeah. All right. I think
as best she could. Oh man!
I think we're all back.
That was fantastic, though.
It was good.
And the riddles, we solved the riddles. I am so excited about that.
Yeah. You guys, everybody, inspiration. What you guys did so well, and that first one was pretty tough. And you guys, Taylor, I'm so glad I don't have a camera, because I would have such a hard time keeping like that poker face, because you said candle. You started going through all this list of things, and then you hit it, and I'm like, oh god, yes.
I just went through this logical process, and all of a sudden I was like, what is ruined when it gets wet? Fire, wicks, candles have wicks. What else has wicks? Lamps have wicks. Lamps have basins. Oh my gosh, it's a lamp.
Yes, and Jeff, you did something very similar with the second riddle, with the battle and war and whatnot. So it was really great to see you guys do that, and I kind of threw you guys a bone. With a bone with the third one. I said, if they can get these first two, I'm going to make the third one. Like, I wanted to do 3 different things, and you guys did awesome.
So Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Riddle contest or whatever. They're just so Middle Earth.
Yeah. You gotta have contests. Don't always have to be done with steel and arrows. So I was like, how could we do this rather than having you guys have to fight your way through this right? So all right, let's I think we're all back. We will pick back up again. So you don't notice at first, elation to be free of the barrow, free of the dark forces within. Arafor, that last feeling of regret from the shade of Maldred. You don't notice at first until you hear the voice. No Thomas then, huh? And that's when you notice the shadowed forms surrounding this clearing by the men here. Moira, you see one of these forms is standing next to Isfael, a spear in one hand, and the other holding the reins, holding her reins. This small, squat form steps out from behind the men here, and you see this dwarf dressed in ringed mail, a golden beard braided, rests across his chest. You can see the reflection of the moonlight off his bald head. You see the workings of a smile at his lips. Did you not hear me? I don't see Thomas.
I think like Arafor was like walking up to Wari. It was like about to just go off on him, but then he hears this voice. So like, where's Thomas? And I think like, given everything that's happened, I think he would like sword would be out.
Yeah, your sword is already out.
As he turns to look.
Yeah, your sword is already out. You would probably never put it back as you ran out. So yeah, you would spin and you would see this dwarf. And you see several other men next to this men here as well. All of them have spears, shields. But one of the other things you notice is it looks like these men have been in some sort of fight. Several of them are bandaged. You see abrasions and cuts. You see that this dwarf, one of his arms is bandaged, and you can see the crimson that has soaked through the linen. And as your eyes kind of scan across them, Arafor, you notice that all of these men appear that they have sustained some sort of injury.
Who are you? Why have you followed us here?
I'll be asking the questions here, lad. Now, where's Thomas?
Unhand my horse.
You hear a chuckle from the man that's holding. It's a fine horse. Think I'm going to keep it for myself.
About how many of them are there? As Vadu's kind of standing up, still pretty heated. He stands up and scans them.
Yeah. So you scan. So there's this dwarf, and on either side of this dwarf are three other men. They all have spears. Shields are either hanging on their arms or on their backs. They're all dressed in like hide armor. And like I said, they all have different degrees of bandaging and whatnot upon them. And you also, as you look to your right and left, you can see that there's other men there. There's one by Moira's horse. And if you guys want to give me a perception check, we'll see what else you may notice.
Nat 20 perception, so 24 total.
Yeah. You hear the creak of yew wood, and you know you've heard that sound many times. It's the sound of bows being drawn back. You see, and you count 1, 2, 3 archers, arrows at the ready, trained on your group as you're kind of laid out at the entrance to this tomb. Yeah, you count 10 in all.
I'm thinking, since I just got an inspiration, that Lily's going to use another inspiration and disappear.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
With her bow drawn in case she needs to reappear somewhere suddenly.
Almost like magic, you disappear into the taller grass around the edge of where that large stone, and you kind of bury yourself in it, Lily, disappearing from everyone's sight.
And I sort of imagine that maybe the bandits hadn't really noticed her yet anyway.
You don't know, Lily. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking, being all dark and everything, they probably didn't even realize she was there until she was gone.
So it is a full moon, so no one suffers any kind of disadvantage for it being dark. The sky is fairly cloudless. There's a light breeze, but it doesn't look appear as though it impact any kind of archery or anything. So its visibility is pretty good.
So Badu is standing up, and his face is still red, his scowl on it, and his arms, you could see a little bit of sweat starting to kind of come up from his pores, and he's looking around at all of these men, and he kind of gets an idea of how many there are, and he kind of is able to see he's kind of able to see that they look a little beat up. So he steps to the front in front of this other dwarf, keeping his distance, but he steps in front of his group to speak. He says,
You'll be asking no questions and answering mine instead, else I'll chop all your heads off.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you pick your axe up and you move forward alongside Arafor. There's probably about 10 or 12 feet separate you from the men here where the dwarf and these men are. And the other men are splayed out on either side of you. And one of the archers you see is up on the hill behind you. Arafor, you would notice that with your very quick way of you as you perceive the battlefield around you. None of these men look like they're trying to hide, and you probably get a sense that they know that they have numbers on you. So you bellow your threat. Is anybody else doing anything?
How tightly is he holding the reins?
Doesn't look too tight, or not. You would say probably not tight enough. You would say probably for a docile horse, he's probably holding it tight enough. For a trained Rohirrim horse, no way. And plus, he's got this he's got this shit-eating grin on his face as he's looking at you, Moira.
Moira is at this point going to say nothing, but looks at Isfael and looks over towards Arafor and Wari and Badu and where Lily was.
Yeah, Lily's gone.
She's gotten used to this by this point.
just the dotted outline of
Yes, right.
Exactly.
It's like this little puff of smoke that's in the shape of Lily.
the hobbit-shaped shadow.
Yes.
So she's gonna essentially ready an action to whistle, and
yes. Perfect.
Whenever, because something's bound to happen, but whenever things start happening, she's gonna whistle, and that horse is gonna come pick her up.
You hear another voice. It's more of a louder or more shrill type voice. Now, easy now, out. No need to get tempers. We can settle this like civilized men. And this other man steps around the men here. He's a taller man. He's got a thick head of brown hair. Got kind of a red blotchy face and wispy whiskers on his chin. What stands out, though, is that he has this dark patch over where his left eye would have been. You see this ragged scar that runs down along his cheek. Right? We can solve this in no need for drawing blades. We're just looking for our friend, Thomas. And you see him, his one eye is kind of scanning your group looking for Thomas.
Why do you come
I'm
asking
sorry to
for
say,
him?
Thomas is dead.
The dwarf grunts, and the man with one eye just kind of nods his head. He said, "Oh, well, that's rather unfortunate. He was a good lad." And he laughs. He goes, "Well, excepting that he lied to us, and it was really hard following him. Took us days." And
I have a feeling the boy is not the only reason you're here. What do you want?
That's right, the dwarf says. Boy promised us treasure, and I'll be having it. And he looks past you to the tomb behind you, and he says, is that what the treasure is? The one
Aye.
of the map.
And Badu just immediately starts to try and move everyone out of if he can, he'll like gesture everyone to move out of the way.
Aye, your treasure's in there. How about it?
And he'll start to kind of walk like he's walking past them.
Easy now, friend. You don't go from threatening me to all of a sudden being friendly. Roll a deception, Badu.
Would you allow, if I retort, to attempt to intimidate him instead?
Yeah, you know something? I was actually thinking. I actually intended to have you roll in an intimidation.
Badu would swing his head back around, and he would say,
You don't go from standing out here with bows drawn to telling us that you want treasure, and then telling me that I'm threatening you.
and that's going to be a 20 modified.
Yeah, perfect.
As he kind of snaps at him.
Yeah. You see, it passes only quickly across the dwarf's face. The eyebrow of the one-eyed man raises, and there's a murmur across several of the men. Easy now. I didn't survive one of the largest, ugliest trolls I've ever seen to be scared by the likes of you, boy. But you still think that several of these men are a bit shaken by your threat.
You seen that troll? I've taken hand and fist over that troll. I know the troll you speak of. You want your treasure? It's in there. Go get it and fuck off.
And what are the rest of you doing? I love Badu's negotiation skills, by the way.
He's still raging, so like the whole time he's still red-faced and breathing heavy, just screaming at this guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, you feel your rage starting to fade.
Yeah, it's probably starting to come down, but he's gonna put on.
Yeah, but you still have that pounding in your ears from your heart. And your face is still flushed with your anger, but the actual burst of adrenaline is fading from you.
Moira takes advantage of Badu's blustering and quietly and stealthily slips the horn inside kind of her cloak and tucks it away where it's not seen.
Perfect. Wari, what are you doing?
I imagine Worry's been kind of up there next to Arafor and Badu, but on the other side of Badu from Arafor, and kind of like just back a step. You know, kind of that like I'm trying to make a wall, but I'm probably in trouble kind of thing.
Yeah. You would definitely, your keen eye, your survival skill, Wari, you definitely see the three archers with their bows trained on your group. One behind you, up a little ways on the hillock of this tomb, and the others to either side.
Besides the archers, are anybody else brandishing weapons?
They all have spears.
Like at the ready, or just kind of like point down?
Yeah. Yeah, they're held in their hands. You actually see them like hands starting to tense on the spears because folks are starting to sense that maybe negotiations aren't quite going as well as planned.
All right. Or he's just kind of up there, just presenting himself, letting Badu do his thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arafor has still got his sword gripped in hand. He's kind of darting his eyes from these men and the archers and the one behind them, just keeping a constant vigilance. But he would kind of train over towards Badu as he's saying all this. I would just add, my friend here speaks true. There is, in fact, treasure in these tombs. However, anything taken here comes at a cost. Everything taken something must be given for everything taken. I'm not sure that you like what you would have to give.
Cost, you say? And what would that be? And he kind of tilts his head to the side. He goes, and he says it more questioningly than with any certainty. Ranger?
My patience, that's the cost.
Lily just keeps hiding with her bow ready, ready to attack if something goes horribly wrong.
Okay, perfect.
If you think a troll is the worst thing that you can find here in these downs, you're sadly mistaken. A troll is nothing compared to what might come after you if you anger the wrong things.
The dwarf snorts. Ghosts. Tales told to frighten children.
If you fear nothing, Master Dwarf, then let us pass by, and you may investigate. Seek out your treasure.
Oh, you're a pretty lass. What do you think, boys? Several of the men start to chuckle. Maybe to kind of settle their nerves a bit, especially where Badu had shaken several of them. And they kind of share some knowing glances amongst themselves. I don't think I'm letting you guys go anywhere. We need hands to help us with the treasure.
Moira flushes red and tightens her grip on her blade.
Lily just almost loses an arrow at the guy that said that too.
Love it. It's the dwarf. Well, we seem to be at some impasse. We outnumber you.
Aye, you may have numbers, but we've got health and strength.
And he kind of grips his axe a little bit tighter and reaches to his back to pull around his shield as they kind of start to.
Yeah. The minute you do that, Badu, I need everybody to roll initiative.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
Will that trigger my action to whistle?
Yes. So anyone that has a ready to action, I think Moira, you're the only one with a ready to action, and maybe Lily, who has a bow and arrow ready.
Oh yes. Lily has a bow.
Right. So the three archers from these outlaw bandits will fire, and then you guys ready to actions will go off as well. Okay. Oh wow, that's really good. Perfect. Let me see. It looks like Wari. So let's deal with our readied actions first. Looks like it looks like the archers will go off first. So there's a twang of bowstrings as 3 arrows are loosed from the archers. Right. Let's see. We will do it randomly to see who they target. Badu, and Arafor. Okay. So 2 of these arrows fly at you, Badu. Okay. Does a
Looking at 18.
yeah thing one ricochets off your shield, and you hear a snap and a curse from one of the men as his bowstring snaps, and you hear it fall to the ground as he is preparing another weapon, or prepared. Maybe he's gonna restring his bow, but that's gonna put him out for a round. And the last one goes for you, Arafor, and that is going to be a 14.
I am at 16 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, fly. You see it at the last second, and you do like an Aragorn type thing where you duck your head and the arrow flies wide. Moira, you have the next action.
There's a shrill whistle, and Isfel would rear and come running towards Moira.
Perfect, awesome. Give me an attack roll too as you do this, because Isfel would kind of just rear up, pulling the reins free. And I don't think that Isfel would probably go forego not bringing her hooves down on this unsuspecting outlaw.
If it's a surprise round, does she get advantage?
Yeah, this guy had no idea this was going to happen.
That's a 10 on the die. I don't know what her modifier would be.
+4, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, he stumbles back, and the hooves strike at him, but he falls back enough so it doesn't cause any real damage. But he staggers back, and she comes thundering towards you, Moira. And then the whole scene just erupts into chaos. Yells and screams. Weapons are coming out. Shields are pulled over onto the arm if they're not. And Lily, make your shot.
All right.
Now, just a question, Lily. If you fire this arrow, that will break your stealth?
I believe that will break her stealth because they'll have to know she shot. But she'd like to stay in cover.
Yep.
Because she can hide behind a rock pretty easily, I think.
Perfect.
And so she's going to shoot at. I don't know. Things are going a little crazy. Probably one of the archers. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So probably the archer that we would shoot would be off to your left. He's the one that shot at Arafor.
Okay. Well, let's see. That would be 13 to hit.
13 will miss this archer.
That's kind of what I figured.
Actually, no. Actually, he's not using a shield. A 13 will hit him.
Oh, that's true. So that's a total of 5 points of damage.
5 points. You hear a grunt as your arrow slams into his thigh, and you see him stagger back, dropping an arrow that he was getting ready to put into his bow. And nicely done. All
right, so she's going to, like I say, make sure she's behind a rock for as much cover as she can get.
Yep. So you kind of tuck in there. There's a few rocks, and the grass is tall for a hobbit. So you try to give as much cover. I'm going to give you half cover. Lily, you'll have half cover. That's plus two to your armor class.
Oh, good, because 13's pretty poor.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So that takes care of our readied actions, and it puts us at the top of the initiative. Wari, you are up.
All right, so I would be looking at one of the archers. What archer would be closest to me? But that would also give me a way to get to him physically.
Up behind you on the back of this mound, this burial mound, there's an archer. You see him. He's got another arrow ready. He's one that shot at Badu, and it struck his shield. You see him getting another arrow ready. You see him looking down where Lily is. You track his eyes, and you see that he's getting ready to shoot Lily.
About how far away are they as well?
He is probably 20 feet from you.
Oh, perfect. So it's not like one of those things where he's so far away that I could put an object between me and him. He's too close.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, then Wari would just immediately take out one of his daggers, take a few steps toward him, and chuck it at his face, and then close the rest of the distance after he tossed his dagger.
Perfect, yeah. So like with a blinding flash, Wari, this dagger appears in your hand and you lob it at this man.
Oh, sorry, that was an 18, then a 5, so total of 9.
Oh yeah, yeah. He easily, well, actually, it doesn't even make it to him. The dagger falls short and falls into the grass, just maybe 5 feet shy of this archer. But that gets his attention. He looks away from Lily and at you, and you see him start to draw his bow back.
Perfect. And I finish the rest of my climb up this hill, and hopefully within a few feet from him, have the other dagger ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you think that he's going to try to fire this arrow into you at point blank, but of course, mechanically, that'll give him disadvantage. Perfect. Urrout, Goldbeard, the dwarf bellows, and he brandishes a shield, a round wooden shield, and a wicked-looking flanged mace, and he runs towards you, Arafor, and tries to take out your knee. And he fails on his first blow. You definitely slap the mace aside with your sword. But then he brings it around. You're surprised at the speed, and wow, that is going to hit you. That is a 18 on the die.
Yep.
So you're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel this mace. He brings it around and he cracks it into your thigh. And he just grunts with the exertion. And that will end his turn. Badu, you're up. This dwarf has closed on Arafor, and he's very near you.
So Badu started as he was pulling his shield out, probably like right as he was pulling it around. It just covered his face enough, and the arrow
Actually, Kyle, what I saw is, you know how you're pulling your shield around, so that archer was behind you when he shot at you. It's like you hear this thunk on your shield, and as you bring your shield around, there's an arrow sticking in it.
Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot better. And as he looks at it, and just as he was starting to come down, he just gets all riled up again. He says,
You're a sour lot.
And he just takes his axe and shield, and he just rushes over to this dwarf who just attacked Arafor, and is just going to.
It's not even a full stride for Badu. It's not even a full stride for him to close the distance. Yeah,
and he's just going to swing at this guy, and that is. I'm going to actually take. He's going to swing at the first one, and that's a 16 to hit.
16. Now, are you raging? Because your rage has faded, so you would need to rage again.
Yeah, he's okay. I'm popping another rage.
Okay, cool. A 16 will hit.
Okay. So he brings his axe up with his one hand and slams it into this dwarf. Of course. Jesus.
And you rolled awesome.
I rolled the lowest damage possible. That's still going to be a 6 damage, though. For 6.
Okay. Yeah. He tries to bring his mace up, but he misjudges how strong you are, and you still slam this mace down. And you actually, your axe doesn't hit him. You actually slam this flanged mace down into his shoulder, and he grunts. Perfect. Awesome. And Arafor, now you're up. You and Badu are fighting this this dwarf.
Yeah, he had deflected this first strike from the dwarf, but the dwarf is surprisingly quick and happened to get a second strike that clipped him. Arafor was kind of crunched in pain, but kind of bring up his shield to knock the mace aside as he brings his sword up to try to get a slash in on him.
Perfect.
And it's going to be a modified 20, which I'm guessing is going
to definitely hit. Yeah. AC for Urrout, 16.
All right, and that is going to be 10 slashing as he just brings this sword, just rips it right across down his chest.
Yeah, you bring your sword across. He tries to step back, and he's too slow to get his shield up. to block you, still kind of reeling from Badu's attack. And you just see rings sheared from his armor. And you see that red crimson slash of blood that trails your sword. That's a really good hit. He grunts. And next is One Eye Hadley. The other man with the eye patch, when the fighting starts, he leaps into action and he runs forward with his spear and he tries to get you to impale you with it, Badu, trying to strike at your back. And that is a 15 on the die.
I will not hit.
No, on the die. 15 on the die.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He got a 20.
Yep, that'll do it.
So he drives the spear into you, and you take 6 piercing damage, but you would have that, I believe. Yeah?
Correct, because I'm still raging.
Perfect. He grunts and bellows to his men, "Take these louts down!" And he tries to stab at you again, this time only getting a 15, which will miss, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you adjust.
So it's 18.
Yeah, so you adjust and you're able to defend against his second thrust. Perfect. And thank you, Taylor, by the way, for doing the initiative. The thugs go next. Okay. So let me see. The one that was holding Isfael's reins is regaining his feet and picking up his spear. And he's going to, when he does so, start to move towards the melee. But he is effectively out of this combat for this. The 2 men that were to the left of Uraut close on you, Arafor, and drive their spears into you. So that is going to be a 16.
That exactly hits.
Okay, so that's for 4 piercing damage. And then he thrusts again, this thug, and he misses. But then his companion thrusts, and you block that as well. And these 2 men, they driving these spears at you with pretty quick thrusts, but you're able to use your shield and sword to keep it from finding any vital spots. One of the men comes running at you, Moira. And that is a 16. Does a 16 hit you, Moira?
Yeah, that's exactly a hit for me.
Okay, so you're going to take 6 piercing damage as a spear kind of cuts across your thigh. And the other one, much like Arafor, you adjust and you're able to block, bat the spear aside as he thrusts in again. And you hear the rustle of grass, Lily, and you hear a man say, "I saw you, little one. I'm going to get you." And you see this this darkened, shadowed form come up, and you see a spear, the glint of the moonlight off the tip of his spear as this man tries to impale you with it. 10 does not hit you, I assume?
That's correct.
You definitely roll aside, and he stabs down at you again, and your hobbit luck is holding out as he rolls a 3 and misses you again. But this guy is now harrying you. One of the archers is restringing his bow, so he will not be able to attack this round. The other is in front of you, Wari, and you're closing in on him. You see kind of panic in his face, but he still fires the bow at you, but he's going to do that at disadvantage. 14. Yeah. And 5 will not hit you. The arrow goes wide as you close the distance, and you see him start to drop his bow, and he's fumbling to draw a short sword. And that'll be his turn. And the other one was going to fire at you, Lily, but that man kind of blocks him from doing so. So I will give you 3/4 cover because he'll shoot an arrow at you. Does a 20 hit you?
And then what do I get for 3/4 cover?
+5, I believe, right, Jeff?
Okay, so that would give me a total of 18. So yeah, 20 would
Yeah.
hit me.
Is 3/4? 3/4 is +5. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy's driving this spear down at you, but unfortunately, what it does is it puts you up, and he steps aside, and just as an arrow, and slams into you for 6 piercing damage. Lily, thump. You feel this kind of this dull thud in your shoulder, and you're kind of confused at what it is. It doesn't really hurt.
Right, it's just that impact. Wham!
Yeah. Moira, Isfael comes thundering up to you. It's your turn.
Moira would like to one-handed swing up onto Isfael and then turning about, she's going to charge for whoever's going after Lily.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. The spearman. Perfect. Yeah, so you would swing around to what would be your left now and heading back towards the barrow, which isn't that far. So you literally like 8 to 10 feet for you. So you close the distance quickly. There will be an attack of opportunity from the guy that is the spearman that is at your... Okay?
That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm not even going to make you make a roll for swinging up onto your horse, because that is probably something you were doing before you could even walk. You probably were riding a horse. And he's going to miss. He rolls a 2. So the spear goes wide. He's probably staggers back as this large horse comes thundering up, and he misses you. Go for it. This guy doesn't even, he hears the thunder. He starts under your horse, and he turns to face you. Let's see what happens.
So Moira swings up, and she's got her sword in her hand, and she just lets out this battle cry. It's a non-natural 20 to hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that hits.
And 6 slashing damage. Sorry, it's 8 slashing damage. Actually, hang on. I forget, I'm mounted, so I get something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 12 slashing damage.
Oh my gosh. You cut deep.
I rolled a 4 on a d4 for him.
Nice. You cut deeply into his shoulder. His shield drops a bit. He's surprised by your sudden attack. There's a grunt of pain. Well done. Is Fael going to attack? Because you can attack with this Fael as her own action, but on your initiative.
Absolutely.
When you're mounted.
It's going to be a 12 to hit. I don't know if that'll do it.
No. He staggers away from you. There's a curse that he yells. He's something about you being a she demon. And we will go to Lily. Moira comes thundering up to your rescue, Lily, kind of taking this guy away from you just a little bit. What do you want to do?
Is he far enough away that I can shoot my bow with
no, you could shoot at him, but it would be at disadvantage.
Okay, so she's going to set the bow at her feet really quickly and grab out the fancy dagger that she got from Orodreth.
Oh, Orodreth, yes. Nice.
Orodreth, yes, and she's going to attack him with that.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. A total of 22 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to get the full 6 points possible of damage, too.
Yeah. So what is it like for I almost called you Moira, for Lily when she kills a man? You drive this dagger up into his kidney in his back as he spun to face Moira. Blood spills out from the wound across the dagger and down your hand and along your arm.
Well, first off, she felt that arrow hit, and she knows she's injured, although it's still numb. And she's gotten really angry. And she takes this strike at him with all of her strength, and there's not much of it, but she takes that strike.
Mm-hmm.
And but when the blood comes, all of a sudden her eyes go wide, and she kind of steps back. Like, I don't think she's killed anyone before, has she? I don't think so.
That's why I said, what's it like when she kills this man?
She's kind of almost more shocked from that than she is from the arrow. She looks at the dagger and her hand and the blood and the guy, and then realizes she's on a battlefield and ducks back behind a rock, but still just almost shaking with, wow, What have I done?
Perfect. Yeah. I wonder how that's going to impact Lily later on. Cool. You would notice, Lily, as the action now goes to Wari, you would see several of these men are closing in and around Arafor and Badu.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Wari, you are up. You're facing this archer who is now fumbling to draw this short sword.
Sweet. So with the short sword drawn of my own and me just kind of smiling at him, I'm just going to drive it. I'm just going to drive it straight in him and see if I can take out like maybe the hand that he's going to use to draw the short sword with or something. Natural 20.
Oh my gosh. You probably kill him anyways, but we might actually use the nat 20 chart.
Oh, I'll do that. I take it I don't get any sneak attack damage on this since I'm facing him.
Give me the damage first though. Remember, all these guys look injured from some earlier fight they were in.
Almost max damage. 7 total.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not quite enough to kill him outright. But yeah, give me a D100 roll.
Also 84.
84. You try to stab down at his hand that he's pulling the dagger, but he pulls it away. But instead, you drive your own weapon into his thigh, deep into his thigh. Give me a D20 roll.
3.
3. All right. Bear with me as I find the table. And you hit the leg, and you got a 3. Yep, your weapon strikes deep into your opponent's thigh. He has to make a Constitution save or be knocked to the ground.
Perfect.
He does not make it. He falls to the ground prone.
Awesome. Then I would just like to flavor text just standing over him, hopefully trying to prevent him from drawing his weapon.
Yeah, you still see that he fumbles his short sword out, but he's definitely in a compromised position as he's now prone. Perfect. And Wari, you actually have the bragging rights of being the first one to roll on the crit table.
Yeah, that's what I said in chat. Like, I forgot about that. Oops.
Cool. All right. So Urraut, Goldbeard, goes next. He grunts and says, "I'll not be kept from my prize." And he is going to try to two blows with his mace, one at you, Arafor, and one at you, Badu, as he's trying to separate you so that he and his men can kill you both. Wow, that is a nat 1 on his attack against you, Arafor. The mace starts to slip from his hand, and at the last second, he grips it again, keeping it from falling out, but he surrenders his second attack. And he grunts, and Badu, that leaves an opening for you.
Yeah. So at that, Badu just still kind of grunting and heaving all this time is going to make another attack against him, and he drops his shield and with both hands takes his axe and just comes down, essentially a reckless attack, and that'll be a 20 modified.
Okay.
So that was advantage on that, and I get an advantage against me for the rest of the round.
Perfect.
Until my turn again.
What was your damage, sir?
So that is a 6 plus. That is an 11. As he comes down with both hands on his axe, just straight down.
You see Urraut bring his shield up to block, and there's that splintering sound of steel on wood as you sunder his shield. You feel the blade of your axe cut deep into his forearm, almost severing it. Nice. Urraut's shield is now destroyed, so his armor class has been adjusted by that. Very well done, sir. Blood is now running freely from his wound. And that would bring us to Arafor. Badu is pressing the attack. Uralt does not look so good.
Yeah, he sees Badu just like split this shield, just crushing it in the blow, and seeing this dwarf kind of crumble under the weight of it. Arafor is going to try to take that opportunity to put him down. And that is I've already rolled it, and that is a 19 to hit for 11 slashing.
Describe it.
Yeah, so this dwarf like brings the shield up. Badu just like just crashes. There's like the splintering of wood as like the pieces of the shield crash. I imagine this kind of like sends the dwarf down onto his knees and just like perfect slashing height for Arafor as he just brings a horizontal slash with his sword, just like cutting right across his neck and kind of down onto his shoulder, letting out a sickening of blood from his throat.
Yeah.
Arafor just kind of kicks the body over.
Yeah. Crimson bubbles of blood gurgle up through Uralt's wound. His golden beard now covered with his own blood. You've actually you shear most of it away, and it falls to the ground. Braids coming undone. He falls lifeless. There's a grunt from Hadley, One Eye, and he says, "Damn you!" And he tries to end you with his spear. Arafor. the dice are loving you. I rolled a 2, and then I roll a 16, so that will hit you, and you're going to take 5 piercing damage as he finds an opening finally, and he drives it. You feel the spear doesn't quite penetrate your armor, but it drives in enough that the tip of it pricks your skin, drawing blood. And that would put up the thugs. So we have 2 that are attacking you, Arafor, and 2 on you, Badu. Now the 2 against you, Badu, have advantage on their attacks, which is going to be 4 attacks against you at advantage. But I'll do Arafor's first. That's a miss with a 5. What's your AC, Arafor?
16.
Yeah. So the first guy, you're just able to either sidestep or block his attacks. The other one is blocked and blocked. Oh my God, Carol, what kind of dice are you giving me? I'm rolling all these 3s and 2s. Anyways, you're able to
all your luck in the last 2 games.
I think so. So anyways, Arafor, you are, I don't know what is inspiring you at this moment, whether it's your success in retrieving the horn, but these guys cannot get past your defense. You're blocking it aside, their spears aside, or using your shield to great effect. Badu, let's see what your fate is as we get advantage against you. So 17 does not hit you, correct?
No, even with advantage.
Okay, so the first one misses, but a 19-23 will hit you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's going to be for 8 piercing damage, and it'll be halved to 4. Okay. And then the second attack will miss. Well done. You fend off that one. One of them strikes deep into you, but you probably don't even really feel it in your fervor. And that will bring up the archers. One archer fires at you, Arafor, his bow now restrung. And that's going to be a 19. And that's 7 piercing damage as an arrow seems to come out of nowhere. It strikes you just above your shield, into your shoulder. The other archer is going to try to scrambles. He scrambles up on his feet, his leg bleeding heavily from your wound. He pleads to you, Wari, don't kill me, don't kill me. And when he thinks his ruse works, he tries to drive his short sword into your belly. And he rolls a 1.
Whoa!
he slips
This guy's not
on
feeling it.
yeah, he slips on his own blood and falls prone near you, but manages to hold on to his short sword, but he is prone. And the other archer fires at the woman on the horse. And that would be I believe that's a 16. Nope. 15. Will that hit you, Moira?
Nope. That's a miss.
Yeah. Ching! You feel this arrow. It just ricochets off your new armor. And that will bring to you, Moira.
So Moira thunders past the spearman and Lily on Isfail, and by the time she's turned the horse around, the man has fallen dead, and she's gonna wheel the horse about towards one of the archers.
Yep. So there's the one that just fired at you. You see that he has a fresh wound from an arrow from Lily. He sees you look at him, and you see him kind of starting to scramble backwards.
Yeah, so Moira thunders towards him on Isfail, but the man is a little too quick, and he ducks beneath her blade, and Isfail's hooves narrowly miss him.
Okay, yeah. So it's just luck that he kind of rolls out of the way, scrambles back up to his feet. You see him trying to fumble to grab an arrow as you kind of spin around. You kind of do one of those roundabouts that mounted warriors would do. Perfect. Love it. And Lily, you are now up. You are no longer being threatened by this spearman because Moira runs up and just ended him. Well, actually, no, you ended him.
I ended him, yes.
Yes.
And
So
I'm still shaking.
You're standing there shaking. You have this blood-covered dagger and the blood has kind of trailed down your forearm and dripping to the grass at your feet. What are you going to do, Lily?
I think she's going to, she's just shaking, but she's going to take up her bow, stick the dagger in its sheath, take up the bow and try to shoot at the archer, but I'm going to go disadvantage because I don't think she's in any shape to aim well.
Oh, are you picking up your bow? Yeah.
Yeah, and shoot that eye. But like I say, she's just she's just in mental shock.
Mm-hmm.
And as a consequence, she's definitely going to miss him. Her arrow just kind of goes off wild, and she just kind of huddles down behind her rock and she doesn't really care. She's just
you don't even think that he even knew that you were firing at him because he's distracted by this warrior on a horse.
Right. And she's just going through the motions at this point.
Yeah, perfect. And that'll bring us to the top of the order. Wari, this rogue has fallen at near your feet. He's prone.
Sweet. Then I'm going to attack him, but I think I'm going to aim to knock him out, not necessarily kill him.
Okay. Well, don't roll a crit then.
I'll try not to, but it's advantage though because he's on the ground. I'm assuming.
You do have advantage.
And sneak attack. Great. 10 and a 1. I'll take the 10. So a total of 14.
14 will hit him.
All right. 10 damage total.
Oh. And you want to do bludgeoning? You want to knock him out?
Yeah, if I could subdue damage.
So this man, he's scrambling and starts to spin around. And the last thing he sees is the butt end of, is it a short sword?
Yes.
And your fist, as you bring it down in his face, there's an explosion of light, and his nose just explodes with blood. And
perfect.
He is unconscious.
So I'd like to make sure, just in case this takes longer than I thought, I'm going to take his whatever weapons I can see on him, and then turn around and head back toward the rest of the group.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you snatch up the short sword. That looks like that's the only other weapon he had.
Okay, I probably wouldn't keep with me. I'd probably just carry it 10 to 20 feet and just toss it.
Yeah, I guess one of the things you do is you'd grab his short bow that he was using and you would throw it off to the side. And you as you're running down to maybe, I don't know where you're running to.
I would probably be if there's an archer left, I'd be running to the next archer. Otherwise, I'd be running down toward Wari.
Okay, so you start scrambling across the mound above the entrance, heading to effectively what would be the I didn't put north, south, east, west, but to your left, and you toss the short sword aside as you do so. Perfect. You think next round you could make it to that archer.
Perfect.
Okay. And Urraut is dead. Badu, you're up. You face 4 spearmen and one-eye Hadley.
Yeah, so Badu, after now that him and Arafor are kind of surrounded by these different spearmen, he remembers the one who jabbed him in the back before, and he stands out a little bit more because he's got that eye patch. So he's probably going to take a swing at him in an attempt to maybe discourage the rest of these folks, and that's going to be a 21 to hit.
Oh yeah, yep.
So, and that's going to be a total 9 damage.
Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, you draw blood on him. He kind of grunts a bit, but he looks to be a pretty hardened man, used to fighting. As you're close to him now, you can see that he's his exposed skin is crisscrossed with scars. Perfect. That would lead. Now it is his turn. Oh, no, Arafor, your turn. You have 2 spearmen and one-eyed Hadley, close enough for you to strike at.
Yeah, Arafor is going to kind of keep following the cues that this the crazed form of Badu is passing on to him. He kind of kicks the dwarf down after cutting him away. These men charge him, and he fends off most of the blows. But he's just going to turn to Hadley. Your dwarf couldn't do much to stop us, and your numbers are shifting. Soon we'll outnumber you. And then Badu crashes into him, and Arafor is going to take that opportunity to follow the lead. 17 to hit on Hadley.
Oh yeah, it'll hit. He tries to block, but he misjudges your speed.
Yeah, that's going to be 8 slashing as Arafor manages to beat the shield and give him a nice cut before readying himself again.
Yeah, you give him a good cut along his side. He kind of winces from the pain. It's on his sword arm side, and he looks as after this attack, he looks like he's nearly bloodied. And now his turn. He responds to you, Arafor. He says, "That might be so, but we still have the numbers now." And he says, "All right, lads, kill these bastards." And I need, let me see. I need Arafor, Wari, and Badu to give me a wisdom save. DC is 16. Okay, Wari.
My dice are saving my butt in wisdom saves today.
Yeah, you're further away, so you probably are like, I ain't listening to you, buddy. As you're kind of running across the grassed barrow. And 9, yeah. Now, are either of you immune to the frightened condition? Like when you rage, Badu, are you immune to being frightened?
I will double check.
Okay. And how about you, Arafor? Do you have anything that protects you from being frightened?
Nope. I'm just normally susceptible.
Right. So both of you don't know what it is, but something in the way that this man said that, the way that even though he's suffered these injuries, that he does not show any fear at all, unnerves the both of you. You are both now frightened. Any attacks against him will be at disadvantage until you make a successful save, and you can make one at the end of each of your turns. And if you attack, if you have to do anything you can to get as far away from him as you can on your turn. And And with that, he then strikes at you, Badu. He's actually gonna split his attacks because you both hit him. But you are blessed, Arrow 4, by the Valar, and his blow misses you, as it does with you. So even with his fervor, it does little to help his aim, and neither of you are hit. The thugs. Okay, we'll do 2 attacks. 2 of them are attacking you still, Arrow 4. And that is going to hit you. 18, so 21 for 7 piercing damage. Oh, gosh. Nat 20 for 5 piercing damage. So this one drives the spear at you. So let me see where that second spear shot hits you. 68. So yeah, he drives the 2 quick thrusts at your stomach, and you almost block the first, but he drives it in a second time. And do you want me to roll the d20, or do you want to do it, Arrow 4?
I'll take my fate into my own hands.
Yeah, all right, good.
Love it.
Oh god, 18.
Oh no. No.
It's gonna be
Oh
nasty.
no, high is bad.
No.
Oh no.
All right.
Could he use an inspiration to re-roll that?
He could.
Or not.
Yeah, is he going to? That's the question.
Jeff the masochist is all for. He's
Say,
like, give me the 20.
Yeah, but we kind of need him to be sort of.
the only way that I would, like, obviously it's kind of a meta thing to say, but the only way I would want to do that is if it was going to outright kill me. Otherwise, I'll take it.
Jeff, why don't you use that inspiration?
Oh no, this table's brutal.
There are times.
Fair point.
That was a headshot.
No, it's in his
You
body.
say so.
Oh no.
I'll tell you guys what it was after, but reroll.
All right, yeah, I'll use a point then. At your at your council, and it's a 5 instead.
Oh, that was gonna be much better. The spear punches into your belly, slashing the skin and fatty tissue, but catching on your armor, and it forces you off balance. You have to make any attacks you make until you make. So give me a dex save.
7.
Yeah, you are knocked prone by this blow. Yeah, that is a lot better. You want to know what your other one was? The weapon splits your sternum and drives into your spine, killing you instantly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah.
I missed that line. What is
I'm
the
gonna
one
have to
five there?
reread. I'm gonna have to reread these tables because I'm surprised that one was an 18. But anyways, so yeah, you take this devastating hit, and you see Arafor knocked from his feet, Badu out of the corner of your eye. Moira, you do not see this as you're riding away towards this, but Lily, you do. And your passive perception is pretty good, Wari, so out of the corner of your eye, you would see this as well. So what that unfortunately means, that was the first guy attacking you. So the other one that's attacking you will now have advantage as he tries to drive the spear and finish the job. Are you serious? I rolled a 4 and a 1, Jeff. And he tries one last time.
Nice
to
counter.
finish you. Even laying down, he's just driving the spear down at you, and you don't know if it's just he's rushing his attacks, but it's just bouncing off. It's just shearing off your armor and not able to find that soft spot. Yes, definitely thank the Valar. And now two guys are attacking you, Badu. Miss. Wait, 17? Will that hit you?
18.
Nice. And yeah, you fight these guys off, even though they have 2 attacks against you. They are not able to do that. Wari, you see another man, the one that was holding Isfael's reins, running towards you, spear at the ready and shield. He closes the distance, and that is a 16.
That'll hit.
Yeah, he surprises you as you're kind of drawn to arrow 4 being knocked down, and you're going to take 7 piercing, and then he tries to stab you again. And that is definitely going to hit you. That is 19, and that's 5 more piercing damage as this man goes to try to end you. All right, and that would bring us to, I believe, the archers. And there are 2 of them left. One archer was going to shoot arrow 4, but now that he's been knocked prone, he tries to shoot the large man, and the arrow flies wide. Moira, you can make an attack of opportunity against this other archer as he tries to put distance between you so that he can turn and fire an arrow at you.
16 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
11 damage.
Yeah. He turns to run, and you just bring. You can tell me how Moira ends this guy, because you do end him.
Oh yeah, so she sees him kind of stand to his feet, pushing up his bow, and she cuts kind of backhand with the sword across his back as he turns, not only to flee but to make another attack on someone she cares about. And it's right between the shoulder blades, and he falls with this.
Yeah, he falls, and he kind of face plants and skids a little bit across the matted down grass. And it's at that point, Moira, that you see Arafor has been knocked down. You see men driving spears down at him. You can't tell from this vantage point if the spears are driving into him, killing him or not. But you see that the one-eyed man is looking as though he's going to finish Arafor. It is your turn.
Moira wheels Isfael about and lets out another just yell of rage and fear. And it's 22 to hit the Hadley, the one-eyed man.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
It's only 5 damage, but I'd like to bring Isfael to a stop. Her hooves strike out, but the man falls backwards a bit, takes a step back, and I'm going to try and interpose myself and Isfael and slide off the horse, actually.
Perfect. So you want to push Hadley away from the fallen form of Arafor?
Yeah, and whoever else is there as well, and put myself and Isfael in between.
Perfect. Yeah, you do that easily. Hadley now appears bloodied. You see sweat beaded up on his forehead, and as he's pressing this attack, and you would also notice too. 7 damage. Okay, he does appear bloodied. I did say that, I believe. But you also notice that Arafor still draws breath. He still holds his hand and is using his shield to defend himself. He's just been knocked off his feet. But you do notice that along his stomach, he has a ragged gash. And Lily, it is your turn. Hiding in the grass.
Yes. How far is Lily from all this action going on with Arafor?
10 to 15 feet.
Okay.
10 feet would bring you to the 2 spearmen that are attacking Badu. 15 feet would bring you to the spearmen that are near Arafor.
She's going to move until she's, let me see, what is her movement? 25, I think. Yeah, movement's 25, so she's going to stay back, but she's going to move closer. Maybe so she's 10 or 10 feet out from everybody. find another rock to hide behind, and shoot her bow. I mean, she's just decided she's got to get this together. So she's not going to disadvantage this time. She's just stiffened her back, and she sees her friends in danger, and she's going to shoot her bow at one eye.
Okay, perfect. I am going to give him cover because of the action that Moira did. But you can fire away.
Maybe I should shoot at a thug then, if he's actually, because I wasn't considering him as covered.
I don't know, Lily. You already said you were going to do that.
Okay.
So I'm just kidding.
Right.
You can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want to do, I don't care.
You haven't rolled the dice yet, so.
No, I hadn't. I'm going to shoot at a thug then, since if he's sitting behind the horse, I don't want to hit the horse or Moira.
Yeah. Whew, don't do that.
Well, I wouldn't have, but I'm not going to hit him, I don't think, either. Because a total of 9 probably won't.
Yeah, no, the arrow. You're trying to be careful. People are moving around, and Lily is not a combatant. You know, she's used her bow.
She's still shaky.
She's used her bow to hunt. She's not used to firing into combat, and so she's nervous about hitting one of her companions. So her shot flies wide and harmlessly into the night. Perfect.
But she is taking cover behind whatever she can find there. That she didn't use her whole movement, so she'd have a chance to hide.
Lily, I expect, unless you tell me differently, I'm expecting that's what Lily does every time. In true Hobbit.
Yeah, I think you can, because she's a Hobbit.
Wari, it is back to you, sir.
Sweet. All right, then I will engage this guy who you said he spear is what he has.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I will engage this guy with a spear with my short sword. Real quick. Yeah, that's a miss. 10.
Yeah.
All right. So and then on this, so I'm assuming I just lunge in there whilst he's running after me and I'm running after him. He deflects my blow, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to disengage and keep going past him.
Okay, are you still trying to close on the archer?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. And so that's what you do. Badu, you're up.
Okay, so meta real quick. Would it be able to, because Badu, I imagine Badu and Arafor were kind of back to back getting, surrounded by these guys, and he sees Arafor fall down. Would he be able to, in his rage, try and grab Arafor and drag him out of the way, possibly using, a disengage or something to try and, get him out of there without letting any of them jab at them? What do you think?
So dragging him out would be an action.
Okay.
So you would suffer some attacks of opportunity, but you could definitely do it. I see you using your body to shield him.
Yeah, would Arafor suffer any? Do you think?
No.
Okay. Then
no,
yeah,
you would use your body to do it, to protect him.
Yeah, okay. So that's probably what he'd do then. So I would grab Arafor real quick, with my shield up, try and drag him out of the way, and block any incoming blows.
If
Perfect.
you can,
Now,
bring him towards Lily.
Yeah, he would probably just bring him closer to the entrance of the cave, like maybe 15, 20 feet, and he might see Lily along the way.
You're probably not going to see Lily because she's ducked in hiding.
True.
You did see an arrow maybe fly from that direction.
I'll give you
just
that. In the general direction.
But here's my question though.
Mm-hmm.
So Arafor has not lost consciousness. Arafor, you feel this strong hand grab you around the collar of your mail and start to drag you free of these men. Do you oppose it? You could do a free action before we do the attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, I imagine that Arafor has already begun the process of trying to lift himself off of his back to and bring up his sword. So if he saw Badu trying to grab at him, I don't know that he would be able to resist if Badu's going to fully just give it all in, but he would at least kind of swat at his arm in a pitiful resistance.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So seeing the gash on his gut, though, he would still probably mutter something to him.
So give me athletics roll, Badu, so you would have that at advantage because you're raging.
Right, that's a 17.
Yeah, so you're able to pull him free. Now remember, you both are suffering from being frightened. So
Yeah, he's going away from Hadley towards the barrow, because I imagine Hadley was still on the other side, and they were still like away from the entrance. So he's moving him towards the rock, that brought up that entrance, and he'll try and move him over there, and then stand between him and everyone else.
perfect. Yeah, you start dragging, and maybe you see Lily's little head pop up from the grass, and she yells, "Come here, bring him here!" And that's where you start dragging him quickly towards. You feel a spear cut across you, and you take 4 piercing damage as one of these guys lunges at you.
Is that halved or?
No, I'm just going to give you the damage. You can have it.
Okay.
The other one's a 16, which misses.
Yep.
And 10 misses. And a 6 misses. So yeah, you take that one strike, and you can make a save, sir, as you get the arrow 4 to where Lily is.
Save for the wisdom save. That's right.
Yeah, so make the wisdom save. See if you shake the fear.
That is what I have on save. That's just an 8. So
yeah, so you're still frightened for whatever reason. This man has struck fear into you. Perfect. And now arrow 4. You've been dragged over next to the barrow. Maybe even I'll even let you Badu get arrow 4 to his feet. It's your turn.
Lily's going to call out, "Hey, give me a chance here. I can help you. Then you can get back in better shape."
It's your turn, arrow 4. What do you do?
Because of the gut wound.
Yeah, you don't even feel it, arrow 4. You have adrenaline pumping through your body.
Yeah. Arrow 4 is it's like as Lily and Padu like call out to him, it's almost like they're talking to nothing. Like the shouts just fall on deaf ears. And he sees like Moira, who's now in like the pit of all of these people that Badu has basically left her in the center of the fray now with nobody else there. And he's going to take an eye towards one of these thugs, given that Moira is between him and the other man. And he's going to drag himself back into the fray, sword in hand, and try to hit one of these thugs.
Yeah, you can't, unfortunately. Yeah, you would, because you're frightened. So you can't move any closer to One-Eyed Hadley. And that's where these thugs are. Actually, wait, is it that you can and you just are at disadvantage on all your attacks? Because I thought frightened.
How would you feel about me using a point of inspiration to move anyways?
I think that, yeah, I would say you could use your point of inspiration to kind of delay that frighten, kind of give you steal your resolve. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I'll let you do that.
I'll do that if you don't mind then.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
Use that inspiration.
I will. Yeah, and Airfor is going to claw his way back into the battle. He's woozy. He's hurt. But he's stubborn.
Yes.
And he's going to try to take out one of these thugs. And that is a 21.
Yes.
To hit.
That'll definitely hit.
That is going to be 13 slashing max damage.
Wow. You bloody him in one hit. He screams in pain, pulling back from the injury. You cut him deeply. Give me a D100 and a D20, please.
All right, that is 40 on the dot and 9.
Yeah. You strike his shield arm. This is probably not going to be good for him. You cut a large chunk of his shoulder muscle free of his body, cutting right through the hide armor. His shield drops and is ineffective, effectively lowering his armor class. until he gets medical attention. Perfect. Well done. So he has a lower armor class. And One-Eyed Hadley sees you coming back into the fray. He pushes past one of his men. Wait a second. Moira is right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to get past me.
Yeah. And that's what he's going to try to do. He just gives you this smile as he tries to put his spear into you. Oh, that is not going to be it. He rolls in 12. Oh, shoot. Moira, nat 20.
All
So
right.
What is with
you-
these dice? They're hot and cold.
So let's do the damage first. So the spear itself strikes you for 4 points of piercing damage, but I need a D100. And do you want me to roll the 20? Or
I have rolled the 20, and then I rolled it again with inspiration.
okay, perfect.
So that's a 1 for the 20.
Okay, perfect. That's not going to be
And
so
you
bad.
said a D100?
Yes.
That's 9.
9. Oh my gosh. He lunges low at your legs and you block that aside, but you realize that was just a feint, and he brings the spear up very quickly at your head. This one strikes you in the head. And you do wear a helmet, correct?
Yeah, I've got a horsehair helmet.
Yeah. The tip of this spear, as you rock back from the attack, it cleaves just above your nose, separating the skin, and blood starts to run down across your face and into your eyes. You're at -2 to hit until you can stop the blood flow. So it could have been worse.
Could have been much worse. My original roll was a 15, and I thought that was really high.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yeah, he would have driven the spear through the bridge of your nose, separating it from your face, and you would have had to make a con save to stay conscious.
Ow!
You would have been Moira the Noseless. But yeah, so you kind of hit you, and you see you see this smile go across his face, but he doesn't say anything beyond that. So that brings up the thugs. 2 of these thugs are going to try to deal with you, Arafor. Oh my gosh. I'm going to call you Arafor thrice blessed, because you and Badu, these guys cannot hit you. Okay, there's a hit. That's a 19 on the die, and that's 7 piercing damage, Arafor. As one of these spear attacks get in, but that's it. And the other 2 close in around One-Eye to help him to fight you. Oh, you know something, Moira? What is Isfael doing? Does she step up normally? Oh yeah, your damage was 6, or no? Was it? I think it was 4. Does anybody remember?
We'll go with 6 because I have it anyways.
Okay, cool, perfect. So yeah, these 2 other guys are going to come up and help, but I'm wondering what Isfael is doing. Would she naturally stand there to help defend you? I'm assuming she would, because you are a Rohirrim.
Yeah, she would absolutely
So
be there.
one will attack your horse, the other will attack you, of these spearmen, as Isfael stands to impose, and that's a miss on her. And will a 14 hit her? I mean 13?
I don't know where the AC is for the horse.
I think a natural AC is 11. Do you have any sort of barding on her?
I don't think so. I think that's a hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So the spear just kind of grazes across the front of her haunch, her shoulder. I mean, not haunch. That's in the back. Yeah. So there's a slick of blood as the spear kind of grazes across her. And 2 attacks against you, Moira. That's a miss with a 3 and a 1. Hot and cold, these dice. And now it is the archer. Anyways, the archer. So the archer that you're running towards, Wari, he's going to fire at you, and that is going to miss. Arrow flies wide, and that puts us to you, Moira. You're standing almost alongside Arafor as he rushes into this combat. And what do you want to do?
So Moira is toe-to-toe with Hadley, and she's just had this cut across her face, and she kind of wipes up and smears the blood from her eyes with one hand. Perfect. And with her other hand, she strikes out at him. That's a 19 to hit.
Yes.
And 11 damage.
How do you do it? How do you end One-Eyed Hadley?
So I think there's this moment where she kind of cuts him across the stomach, and he bends over, and she looks at him doubled over in pain and kicks him backwards, and the cut kind of spills open.
Yeah, and it's almost it's gratifying, Moira, as you see the shocked look on his face as he falls back and dies. And with that, you see the men. There's a gasp from several of the men near you as you end their leader. What if anything is Fael doing? Is she going to lash out at the thug that attacked him?
Yeah, she is.
I thought that that 20.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh! Yes.
This guy hits her, and she, I think, just kind of turns and does that powerful horse rear leg kick straight into his chest.
Donkey kick.
Give me the D20. I mean, it's gonna kill him, but I just want to hear.
It's an 8 on the D20.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Eight. Yeah, her hoof connects solidly into his chest. You hear the snapping of his ribs. And he falls immediately to the ground. And he's prone until the start of his next turn. So that is awesome. And Lily, it is now you.
Okay, I'm going to assume that having been pulled out of the fight and then gone back to it, that I can get to Arafor without having to actually get attacks of opportunities from the thugs. Is that possible? What do you... But I figure he's on my side of the fight now.
Well, you only have attacks of opportunity if you're in someone's threatened area, and she has no one threatening her right now. She would be running into a threatened area.
Yeah, but she sees how bad Arafor is, and she's a little stubborn herself,
right?
As you all know. And she's just like, okay, I may have killed a man tonight, but I am not going to see Arafor die because I didn't do what I do. And so she's going to just run right in there. And she's all ready to just slap a bandage on his stomach. Yeah. She saw that wound. So
here's the thing, and I apologize for this. And if you guys don't like this, then I won't do it. But just I don't think that in the middle of a combat, Lily would be able to do anything that could heal Arafor, because Arafor is fighting for his life, ducking, weaving, driving in with his sword. And spears are coming at him. There's just no way. Now, if we were playing D&D, where it's kind of like fantastical magic, but I mean, in combat, you could do it. Like if Badu would have pulled him over to where you are, I would have said, yeah, you could do that. But if someone's actively in the threatened area, I would say it just couldn't happen.
That makes sense. A full round like that, like Taylor mentioned, would make sense.
Yeah.
Even though that's not the exact mechanic the game has, I think it makes more sense.
I know. And I think that's just the house rule I want to have, just because if I allow something like that, it just doesn't fit.
You're right. I agree.
So what would you want to do?
Instead of that,
You could fire an arrow at one of these men. And hope
yeah,
not,
she's gonna stay where she is then and try to make another arrow shot.
you could heal Badu because Badu is near you where you are.
Nah.
I don't have a lot of heals, and he doesn't look that injured.
No, he doesn't. He just has a few minor nicks.
Yeah, he
And I'm
looks
looking
fine.
at him going, no, I can't really do much for him.
Plus, you're probably afraid in his fervor that he's going to split you in half with his axe.
She's probably a little too innocent to believe he would do that, but she
Yeah.
probably should be.
All right. So, yeah, give me a shot
Okay.
with your.
What do we have left? Just some thugs?
You
and an
have
archer?
4 thugs and an archer that Wari is running at. And there's one. Actually, what you would see is one of these thugs is running down Wari and probably soon would catch him up. He's running behind him. Wari doesn't even seem to be giving him much attention.
I think she's going to shoot at that one. That makes sense. Well, maybe this time. That's 16 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit him thunk right in his back.
A total of 6 damage.
Thunk. Yeah, it strikes him in his back. He kind of staggers a bit, and perfect, excellent. Wari. Oh, actually, are you moving or anything, Lily? Are you staying put?
She's going to duck back in her cover. At least she's starting to settle down a little bit and get her wits back about her.
Yeah, cool. Wari, you're up. You've now closed the distance. This archer is putting another arrow on his bow.
Perfect. I'm going to take the opportunity to go at him with my short sword, probably not even realizing that Lily shot the guy behind me. So in my head, I'm like, I've got like 3 seconds before the guy that's chasing me is coming after me.
Exactly.
Ah, come on. 11.
Yeah. No. In your panic, because you can hear the guy behind you. You're like, you got to do this quick, and your shot is just your stab is just a little wide. Badu.
I would want to actually disengage from him a little bit if I can, and kind of get on the other side of him so that I can see the other guy coming at me now. Like, so I'm having.
Yep. Oh yeah, you could definitely jockey around fairly easily. He would be turning to defend himself too, so you would see him coming, the guy coming in with a spear.
Perfect.
And Badu, you're up. There's now 3 of these thugs around you. Oh wait, no, Badu, you're back with Lily. That's right.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
But there's how many of them on Era 4?
There are 3 spearmen there. They seem to be spreading their attacks across the horse, Moira, and Arafor.
Okay. So after just kind of going out on a limb and trying to pull Arafor out of there, he stands him up, and Arafor just, going into the 10th round, kind of shakes his shoulders and goes back in and gets stabbed again. After seeing that, and then Moira spilling Hadley's guts, he kind of gets a little bit of confidence back in it. And he sees their numbers starting to go down, and he thinks they have a much better chance at this. Now,
yeah, Badu, one of the things you would notice too is that it looks like these men are going to break. They don't have that kind of same resolve they had when their leader was still up.
Yeah, and so I'm going to do this either way, but I want to ask if you'll allow me to bend the rule a little bit. What I'd like to do, if possible, because he just saw Arafor get stabbed again, I want to try and get up there and kind of superimpose myself between him and the other guys, and make an attack and try and get him out of the way, so as to not give any attacks of opportunity. If you'll allow it, use it like a reckless attack and basically just take advantage against me for the next turn.
Yep, that's fine.
Awesome, cool. So he's gonna come up there and swing at one of them, and then push Arafor out of the way. And as he does that, he just says, "Go get patched up," and his axe just swings wide of one of the thugs for a 9 to hit, and he stands there with his shield and then his axe trying to stand between them and Arafor.
Perfect. Yeah. And Arafor, Badu comes running up, and it seems that Moira and Arafor and Badu both are standing side to side of you and helping to try to keep you safe. But it is your turn.
Yeah, as Badu kind of comes and tries to push one of these thugs out of the way. I imagine if it was right next to Arafor, it's the one that Arafor already gave a good cut.
Yeah.
And Arafor's just kind of looking at these men. As, no, we've come too far. We've done too much to fall here. Your dwarf is dead. Half of your archers are dead. Your leader is dead. And he looks this thug straight in the eye. And soon, you will be dead. We will not be stopped here.
Yeah, there's
he's
no,
just gonna
there's
try
no,
to end this man.
there's no denying the fear in this man's face because he knows what you say is true. He's seen you do it. Go for it.
Yeah, that's 20 to hit, 8 damage.
Yes, you end
Mod
him.
20, not nat.
Yeah. Just describe how you finish him.
Yeah, so like Arafor says that, I imagine like he sees this thug like with Badu there right next to him too start to kind of go to back away in fear, but Arafor's having none of it. Like he just lunges forward with a thrust and just runs it right through this bandit, just kicking him off of the sword and just like sending a spray of blood off of the blade down onto the ground. And like even though he's beaten just to complete nothingness, like he's barely standing, like shaking with all this pain, he still just like looks over at these other two, just caught in this like almost weird menacing trance at them.
And as he goes to lunge in, but he's like, "Oi, that's nice, but oi!" And he stabs him. He's just, "Oh, okay." And he turns to the other two.
Nice. Yeah, this guy just dies quickly. With fear. Is his last emotion that this poor man felt before you ended him. One-Eyed Hadley is dead. That brings us to the thugs. The thugs break. They withdraw the 3 remaining of them, and you swing out with your weapons, but they run off. And then brings us to the archer. He does the same thing. So that spearman that was running up on you, Wari, kind of cuts a little off to his right and just runs past you, but out of your reach. And the archer joins him. So they all break and run off into the night. What do you guys want to do?
Arafor immediately collapses. Like as the adrenaline kind of subsides, these just wave of pain like a truck hits him, and I imagine like he just falls down.
And Lily's shoulder's starting to hurt pretty good, but she sees Arafor go down, and she's going to go and she's going to put a compress on him, and she's going to spend some time using her herbs and her skills and kind of cleaning that horrible wound so that it doesn't get infected. And she's going to spend.
As Lily starts to do that, that's when the rest of you notice that sticking out from Lily's shoulder, embedded in her armor, is this arrow that she seems to not even know is there.
Well, it's starting to hurt. I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah, it's definitely hurting. Perfect. So, yeah, these guys flee into the night, leaving you now alone.
We have one.
Settles down. Yeah, and there is one. You're the only one that knows that, Wari, that you left one unconscious up on the barrow mound. So after this hard fought battle, you all are weary. What would your intention be? Obviously bandage up. You would do that. However you have to do it mechanically, Lily, definitely do it. And,
she's going to spend some time, like I said, she's going to get out her pack and wash everything carefully and maybe even sew it together a little bit and bandage it up and spend at least 10 minutes doing all that. And it's going to be, let's see, maybe 26 points of healing.
Perfect. So you guys are all tired and beaten. Do you guys intend to rest here, outside of the tomb by the men here?
Hell
Or,
no.
The only thing that sounds worse to Arafor than staying here next to this tomb is running through the barrows at night after they all just got savagely beaten. So
yeah,
I think he would recommend to keep a watchful eye, but here is probably better than wandering through the downs in the middle
Yeah.
of the night.
Badu
Well,
mentioned that necklace piece. He would point that out again. He remembered that madness, and he would point that out to Arafor.
Oi, can we get somewhere safe with that thing?
And he's kind of like pointing his finger. He's putting his fingers together like really small.
Like that little thing, you know.
yeah. Aerofor, you feel that you would be able to use this precious item that you were gifted by Goldberry, but you fear that maybe you're too weakened now to effectively use its magic. Also
and
known,
even if he could, it's like at best going to be still a few hours time,
right?
potentially even longer than that.
So if you guys are going to stay here through the night, well, the closing scene would be, unless anybody wants to say or do anything, the closing scene would be Wari kind of dragging down this thug that he's bound up down to the rest of you and kind of dropping it into this makeshift camp that you've made. And I'll leave Wari to say or do whatever he's going to do as he drags this man down to the rest of you.
Wari probably wouldn't say much. He'd probably do exactly what you say. He would probably drag this man as best he could. But Wari's actually pretty wounded himself. So as soon as he catches Badu's attention, he would probably just leave the guy where he was and see if Badu could carry the rest of him.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And then that would be it.
Lily
he
could
totally
spend some
would.
time on Wari too. She's got two things. She needs someone to pull the arrow out of her shoulder also.
And Badu would
Yeah.
definitely walk over to the end, see that Wari was able to capture one of them, and he kind of cracks his knuckles a little bit.
Oh boy.
And he just picks him up really rough and drags him over and then throws him into the middle of their little makeshift camp. As you know, they're all getting patched up, and he's probably still unconscious.
Oh yeah,
But
he's totally out. His nose is just ruined. Blood is just smeared all the way down his cheek and across the lower part of his face.
Yeah, and he tosses him to the middle of the camp. He says,
Oi, we got some questions then.
Perfect. And the only other thing that I would have done is I need Lily to make a wisdom save at advantage, please.
I knew that one was coming
Great. Of course.
because
Murderer.
yeah, she's a little preoccupied with that when things settle down. Oh, I'm glad that was at advantage because that wouldn't have been so good if it wasn't. If I'd had to take. All right, 18.
18. Perfect. Yeah. So, for the next few days, you're going to be haunted by the look on that man's face that you've killed. As he turned to face you and as his life left him, you're only going to take one shadow from it.
Okay. And she's going to spend a lot of time washing the dagger and washing her hands again.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. You guys, the rest of you would see that. You would see Lily washing her hands or cleaning this dagger, but to the rest of you, it would look like they're already clean. Perfect. And that is where we'll end the session tonight. Well done, guys. You have now acquired the Horn of Anserinae. Half of your oath to Orodrith has been fulfilled, and we will figure out what you're going to do now. Thank you, anyone that's going to watch this. You guys did great session. Went a little bit longer than we usually do, but I felt it was worth it. Thanks, everybody.